Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to
Mind Body Stuff.
I'm Kaylee.
I'm Bernice. Were you waiting for me to go first?
I was like, ooh, are we going to mix it up?
I know. I was like, she's waiting for me.
I looked at you.
First. I'm like, I never do that.
I know, but I feel like we need
I almost did.
We need to work on our intro. It's so the same.
I love the same intro. It's like Anderson Cooper or
Walter Cronkite.
Or don't you think they have the same, like, welcome to NBC News?
Oh, that's true. I guess ours is just, it's just not a recording. It's us, and we do it the same way every single time.
Right.
You like routine, though.
I love routine.
You love the same.
Now what do I get every day? Soup and chai.
Every single day. Soup and chai. But it's so good that you're using your reusable mugs now, and they put their soup in styrofoam.
Oh, yeah.
Get with it, people. We love you, but you can't use styrofoam anymore. So now B has this really nice thermos. Proud of you. That's a big step for you.
It was a big step, and they were proud of me there.
They were proud of you too, but they even know they shouldn't use styrofoam.
They know they shouldn't. It's
they're like, this is the
older lady
worst
that
thing.
runs it. I think they're afraid to tell who makes the very best sandwiches
and soup. It's a wonderful place. We love
delicious soup.
But come on,
yeah,
no
and
more
they give me a
styrofoam.
discount for using, or anyone a discount for using your own cups or bowls.
Oh my god. We just got back from an awesome weekend in Boise. Boise, we love you.
Oh my
If you're
goodness.
listening, we miss you so much.
Yeah, you people were amazing.
Just a really good Let Love In workshop, followed by an amazing empowerment training weekend. Like you guys probably know if you've been listening to our podcast, we're switching over to the new certification system, and this was our first training doing that, and it just feels good. It feels right.
It felt totally right, and it was, we just didn't really know going into it, how it was going to feel, and if it would feel different, and it just felt like it was meant to be.
Mm-hmm. And on our way home, we were, besides talking about how just great the weekend was, we were talking about what we wanted to talk about on this week's podcast, and if this weekend brought anything up. And one thing that we were just kind of touching on ourselves is like,
because we had a 7.5 hour drive. Mm-hmm. Just wanted to throw that in.
7.5 hours. It was special.
It was a long time, so we got to talk about a lot of stuff.
A lot
until she fell asleep. But she's allowed to fall asleep because she has a baby.
I fell asleep
in
for
her
like
uterus.
30 minutes.
Maybe 40.
And I woke up and you needed me awake. You were starting to lose it. I drove the first 4 hours.
You did. You drove a lot.
And
I
then
only
you drove the last
3.5.
3.5.
That's all I drove, the last 3.5.
And I drove way more on the way down.
Oh, you drove way more on the way down.
I drove twice.
You drove twice, and I drove once in the middle.
Yeah,
that's
so I
all.
think that counts.
But I mean, I give you a break on that.
You did.
I'll give you a pass.
Thank you.
Kaylee gets a pass.
Anyways. Back on topic. We were talking about just two different questions, and I think that they kind of mold together is, how do you know if you're living your truth? And who are our guides throughout this life? Are our guides internal factors? Are they other people? For me, I guess I kind of started thinking about this as, how do I know if I'm living my truth, if I'm living the best life for me, if I'm living in a way that is authentic and real, or am I being guided in ways that I'm not even aware of?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
By good outside factors, or by maybe perceived obligations or perceived expectations.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know if I'm living my truth? And another thing that I was just thinking about today is that a privilege?
Yes. Oh, what a great question.
Yeah. I'm like, is this just like a question that somebody who is living a privileged situation has the luxury to ask themselves?
Am I living my truth?
Yeah. Like, what if some people are like, I don't literally have time to think about that stuff because I'm just trying to get by. I'm just trying to survive. And so I'm wondering,
to get food on the table.
And I'm wondering, but can you still live your truth even if you're struggling to live?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which may be throwing a wrench in what you wanted to talk about in this podcast. But I guess like, and I know I talked about this in an earlier podcast about, our podcast about privilege. And it really struck me that some of my belief systems and my, what I kind of held as truth was actually more idealism. Mm-hmm. And then that kind of rocked me to be like, oh, these aren't universal. This is privilege.
And that you have the luxury too.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, I think we just want to talk about, what that looks like. Living your truth.
And what does that mean anyway? Like living your truth. Like what, like even throwing it into that context that you made me think about in terms of like, is it privilege? And even beyond that, what does it mean? Like, what is my truth? Mm-hmm. Is my truth, something like I'm supposed to be doing? Is it just being present and functioning and alive in the current situation that I'm in? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So that's kind of it's a big question.
It is a big question, and I don't want to just kind of basically redo our privilege podcast, but I think one of the things that we as humans, no matter what our situation may be, is that we recognize or we value that, I don't know, in a way it's like all of our lives matter. And I would like to think, and again, maybe this is idealism, I would like to think that every single person who is on this planet is here for a purpose and a reason. Mm-hmm. And I think part of our journey through life is to really understand and to discover what that purpose is, what brings us joy, how we most can use our gifts, utilize this precious life that we have. And I think when we stay connected to that, don't you think it helps us walk in our truth? Because I don't know, like...
Yeah. I mean, you have to be aware. That's why I think it's that good question. It's like, who's guiding you?
Who's guiding you?
Because when you get back to that, because it's like, well... Because the truth seems sort of connected to who's guiding you. So if you're being guided by, let's say, expectation, maybe family expectation. Mm-hmm. And so you think like, yes, this is my path. I am a gifted mathematician. So then I'm going to be and my family really honors higher education. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to get my PhD and then I'm going to teach math, all over the wherever.
Yeah.
And but then maybe in your heart, you're like, but really, I just want to raise horses.
Oh, totally.
I mean, I don't know, And so then you get down to that question of, yes, but so who's guiding you?
Who's guiding you?
And then what is your truth?
And I think tapping back into last week's podcast about bravery and fear, it can be really scary to say, you know what, like, even though I'm smart enough to be a mathematician, and even though I have all of the resources available to have this type of career, what I really want is I want to ride horses, or I want to race horses, or I want to, breed dogs. I don't know what it is.
Maybe you want to breed dogs. I remember after I finished graduate school and I had my 5th kid right after I graduated, and we all were having these meetings together, all the graduate students, and everyone's like, very like, I'm working at this clinic, or I'm helping the underprivileged, and da-da-da-da-da, and just all this tremendous amount of work everyone was doing. And of course, I just had my 5th kid and kind of was overwhelmed, and they got around the circle and they're like, what about you, Bernice? What are you doing with your gifts now that you've graduated? And I'm like, I'd like to race Newfoundlands. Which is a type of dog, and the whole room just went silent. And of course they're therapists, so they're like, oh how wonderful. But there was that kind of like, now what do we do with this piece?
Yeah, right.
But and even then I don't even know if that was really what I wanted to do. It was more like, I think I was dealing with the bravery and fear piece that we talked about last week, in terms of, oh geez, if I am going to do this work, then I have to do this, this, and this to do it. Mm-hmm. And part of me is like, and I do like Newfoundlands. So maybe I won't, you know? Yeah. Maybe that would be more tangible for me.
Yeah.
Just to raise dogs.
Well, it's less scary. It's like, I think I can do that. I can do it from my house.
I can do it from my house.
I can play with dogs all day. That sounds nice.
I can learn how to do it. Yeah. And, but it was a really great moment dealing with therapists in general, because they were all trying to be like, first in shock, like, but that's not your truth. Remember, we all went through school together.
Right, exactly.
The last 4 years.
Yeah.
And, but then everyone's trying to be like, Oh, I'm so supportive of your
great idea.
Your unusual truth for what you've been studying for the last 4 years.
But like, and maybe this is part of the question. Maybe this is part of everybody's individual journey to really have the bravery to say this is my truth. But don't you think your truth actually was to be a therapist?
Yes, my truth probably actually was to be a therapist.
But maybe it was just scary to own it at the time because you're like, oh my gosh, now I actually could do this. And you want to pull back a little bit.
And again, there's that expectation. Like, oh, so now you're going to be a therapist. And,
right.
And now you're going to help people.
Yeah.
And now you're a professional. You're going to be an expert. There's
like all that
talk
pressure.
About expert. And I'm like, I'm not an expert on anything.
Yeah.
Like, I can barely tie my shoe. And suddenly feeling that fear of that pressure.
Your random examples are my favorite thing about basically any type of work we do together. I'm always surprised. She can basically, we're proud of you that you could tie your shoes.
Well, you haven't seen me tie a shoe. Oh, no, you have probably.
I've probably seen you tie.
Yeah, because I do wear shoes with ties on. So
you do. But anyways, yeah, it's and I was really struck by this amazing woman who was at our weekend, and her husband like had a really good, high paying, very demanding job managing hundreds of people, and he'd had this lifelong dream of working at a grocery store and like stocking shelves and stuff. And he was like, "Do you care if I do it?" And she's like, "You know what? Go for it." And he's so happy.
Yeah, she says he's so much happier.
He's so happy. Like doing this job that, a lot of people would think, oh, but why would you leave your other high paying, powerful job to do this? But how brave of him to say, you know what? But the truth of the matter is, I've had a lifelong dream of working at a grocery store, and for him just to go for it and do it. Like, I love that story. That, to me, that's brave.
Oh, that's very brave. Yeah.
And, to say...
And for her to be supportive.
And for her to be supportive, and for them to take the financial
hit
so that he could do something that he really wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that's so cool, because when we listen, like, going back to the question, who are your guides? I think a follow-up question to that is, why are you following them?
Yes.
Because, like, okay, maybe a guide is, I think we just part of society have this, like, overarching guide of success and money and power and influence, all of these things. Maybe they're not individuals, maybe they are, but these guides of where we should be going, what status we should be reaching at certain ages. And then the question is, if those are our guides, like, why are we following them?
Yeah, and who put them there?
And do by following them, are we able to more live in alignment with our truths and our true desires and wants? Or are we following them because we just feel like those are the people, or those are the ideals that we're meant to be following?
Those are the expectations. That's the story that I've heard and I've learned. I was just thinking about the Newfoundland thing, raising Newfoundlands. And one of the things was, I think I was trying to find out if it was me or if it was other factors that were making me be a therapist.
Oh, yes. Good point.
So I think...
Elaborate on that, though.
So I grew up in a family where higher education is very respected, or it's the paradigm. Like, you should at least have a PhD, at least one PhD. And every family is different in terms of what they have, their stories they tell. Mm-hmm. And so that's the expectation. I only have a master's degree, by the way, so I'm proud of it, that I'm not a full PhD. But so there was all this expectation I felt. And also my dad was a big leader in his community, and there was a sort of like understanding that, you too have this capacity to mentor and to lead. And part of me was like, well, you don't even know me. Like, where's that coming from? Mm-hmm. I would hold off on that till anyone gets to know me.
Right.
And so there was a lot of pressure coming in. So a lot of different guides. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't clear if it was me.
Yeah.
Or my dad or my family expectation. And so, the best thing I did was give that Newfoundland answer.
Yeah.
Because then it stopped everyone, and I took a break for a while because I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
I don't want to be doing this because I think I should be doing this.
Yeah.
I want to be doing this because I like doing it. And even beyond liking doing it, I want to know that I'm actually, that I can make an impact doing this, and that it fits into my own paradigm, whatever that might be. So I gave myself kind of a break there before really stepping into it.
Yeah, and I think you going back to like our gifts that we all as individuals, I mean, every human being has a very special gift. I believe we all have something to offer, and I think most of those gifts are in the service of, are acting in service. I think that's the point of our gifts, is that we can help serve. And I think yours is the therapeutic type of work that you can do. And the way that you do it is so, I feel like, and I think anyone you've touched is so special and unique, and you can add just the right amount of humor. And it's like, it's very impactful, but yet you don't take it so seriously too. You know, the way that you do it is so special, and I do think it's your gift. But I love that you stopped and paused to say, is this just a familial expectation of me and that I've then expected of myself, or is this actually something that I want to do, that I'm good at, that I'm called to do, and that gives me a very strong sense of purpose in my life?
Yes.
And yeah, but throwing in the Newfoundland thing, I think, is such a great way to be like, well, we're gonna,
yeah,
we're gonna see.
I also want to know, like, will I be accepted by my family and
if I
friends,
don't do this,
even my friends, my peer group, and it was great because everyone was like, well, okay, well, go ahead and sure, that sounds wonderful if that's what you want to do, raise Newfoundlands.
Do you think they really meant that?
I think they were kind of in shock.
But they also probably know you, and they know that you always do random things.
Yeah,
too.
And they were like, well, here she goes.
Here she
some
goes.
Newfoundlands. Right. I guess time has come for her to raise Newfoundlands.
Yeah. And like for me, thinking about Ula, like going back to the last podcast when I talked about how commitment to things is, it can be challenging for me. And when I get caught up in following the wrong guides, it starts to lose its joy. And so at the different moments in my life when I've felt like maybe we needed to be like a different company, or that I needed to be a different type of person, or that, I was even just following literally on Instagram or these other leaders that I have a lot of respect for, when I've started to compare myself or follow other people's leads in a way that may not be authentic to me, I do lose the joy. And it starts to become more like work. But when I truly stay connected as to why I want to do the work that I'm trying to do through Ula, then it does feel more joyful and more purposeful.
And it is almost taking that time to kind of experiment where you start to feel not joyful, and you're like, now is this just hard work? Do you know what I mean? Like, do I need to sit with this for a little bit? Because it might just be hard work.
Exactly.
Like what my dad says, like, sometimes it's just going to be hard.
Exactly. And I was just going to say, like, even when I have those moments, which I've been very honest about, I have them frequently to be like, maybe I'm done.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm done. Maybe this has run its course. When I start to think about the things that I would really miss about it, I love the service piece of it. I love the constant, like, I love also just, I never ever stop doing the quote unquote work through Ula, and not just work, sit at my computer and work, but I'm talking about the personal work that this job requires of me. And like I've said in past podcasts, like my astrology chart, it has this configuration that means the finger of God, and it's pointing at the work. And she said, no matter what you do in your life, anytime you try to escape doing the work, your life will bring you back to the work. Like, you can't stop doing the work. And I just love that Ula is a space that I can do this, like, work that I'm meant to do, but also then in the act of service so that others can do their personal work as well.
Right.
And so I think, when I start feeling like lazy or tired or whatever it may be, and I start thinking, okay, well, maybe now's the time. My truth, honestly, is though that I really, I think I'm supposed to be doing this work.
Oh, yeah. And we're so lucky to be doing the work that we're doing, which we've already talked about before, but that we do get to do, because when we're working, we're doing the work. Mm-hmm. It's constant, not constant, but there are, long periods of time of like, reflecting on, what are we going to talk about on the podcast? That means like what's happening in our lives.
But yeah, it means it constantly requires looking inward and digging deep.
Yes.
Like it's to even just create this podcast every week. It requires a lot of thinking about how we're living. Mm-hmm. What life even means. I mean, it requires a lot of thinking about stuff. And I love that it's every single week. And hopefully for you listeners who are tuning in to the podcast and weekly, that it's encouraging you all to look inward and do that type of work. And hopefully it's in an enjoyable and with the spirit of curiosity.
Yes, an encourager. Too.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, I want to think about that for a little while too.
Yeah.
Because again, in all our normal lives, sometimes we don't have free time to do the work. Mm-hmm. Because,
exactly.
Dinner needs to be made and, kids need to get to school or you need to get to your job. You need to work till 8 p.m. tonight, whatever our schedules are. Mm-hmm. So hopefully the podcast ignites in you that like, okay, I'm listening now from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. and I'm going to think about, who's guiding me?
Exactly.
Who's guiding me?
Do I want to be listening to that voice? Do I want to be listening to that person? Does by listening to that guide actually help me stay in alignment with the life that I want to live and the person that I want to be? Mm-hmm. Or is it keeping me in alignment with this expectation of who I think or who other people think I should be? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I think that's it's good to ask these questions. Like, what does it even mean? What are my personal truths? What are my personal truths? Not what my religion tells me is my truth. Not what my society or my socioeconomic class or my, family. What are my truths that I want to live by? And I guess for me right now, like, can we talk about if some of this is a privilege to be able to think like this? Mm-hmm. Let's talk about this a little bit because, like, are there situations, do you think, in which living your truth are not possible? I mean, have you personally ever been, and you've been, and I'm asking you because I feel like you've been really open and honest with all of us about some of the, like, the severe anxiety that you've had, agoraphobia, these different things. Like, have you been in a place personally where you can't even these questions are beyond where you're even at?
Oh yes.
Or no.
Definitely.
So is this a privilege?
I think it's a privilege, but that when we have the moments when privilege is available to us, mm-hmm. then we need to listen.
But so I'm going to go maybe deeper into this question. Do you feel that regardless of your situation, every single one of us has moments where that privilege presents itself, where we can do this type of self-reflecting work? Or, do you believe that a 15-minute meditation practice wherever you are in your life, at whatever point in survival you're at, for you to sit down and tap back into your breathing and ask yourself these questions? I mean, do you think that this is something that's available to all of us? Because for me, I'm starting to just feel like, okay, I don't want to believe things that aren't available to all of us.
Well, I was just thinking about like these books my dad read when he was younger, these sort of some Buddhist books. And one of them was like, what's the monk's name? Thich Nhat Hanh.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying it wrong, but
no, but I think
who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he said, even when you're doing the dishes, he's like, this is the time you can reflect.
Yes.
So, because sometimes I get all like, I don't have time. Mm-hmm. Look at my life. Mm-hmm. I have to move the furniture, or whatever. BS stuff you tell yourself.
Another great example. I have to move the furniture. I can barely tie my shoes and I have to move the furniture. What kind of a life is this?
What type of life is this? Where am I stuck at? In some Twilight Zone movie. But so sometimes I'll be doing the dishes and I'll actually remember that part that my dad read, to me, and I'll be like, wait, I'm doing the dishes. And I'm like,
pause.
Deep breath. And I'm like, I have a privilege to be able to do dishes.
Right.
In a weird way, right? Yeah. It's a privilege to be able to do my hands work.
For sure.
There's water.
I think
I'm inside a house.
I think any of those migrants Right now would probably be grateful to have dishes to do at the moment.
So I reflect, and then there is that moment where I go, I get to do dishes. Okay. Let's reflect on where you are in your life right now and where you're heading and where you are at present moment. Again, grounding into that present moment too. And even the other day we were at the hotel in Boise, Idaho, and we got in the bed and I said, oh my gosh, how lucky are we to have beds. Like, oh,
how lucky to have a bed. Like, yeah, totally.
Every once in a while it just strikes me like this is complete luxury to have this bed. Inside this building that's protected, and I could shower with warm water.
Oh, totally.
And suddenly it's like those are the moments I think where you can reflect and be like, oh, where am I in my life? Am I living my truth? And sometimes the truth, I think sometimes we think the truth is so big, like, are you using your gifts to heal the world? It's more like, are you being present in this moment, present and appreciative?
But don't you think by being present, the gifts reveal themselves?
Yes, they do. But I think, in our Western culture, we get kind of hung up on like, totally. Are you using them?
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe it's just like, just let me reflect for a moment.
Yeah.
My life is busy. Maybe I have 2 jobs.
Yeah.
I'm barely making it. But maybe in that moment when I climb in my bed and I get a 4-hour sleep, I go, ooh, here I am, this moment. Kids are asleep. I'm in my bed.
Yeah. And I do believe that, it's just like the cheesiest answer ever, but I think it's so true. I do think the path to all of this is through gratitude.
Oh, great point.
Like regardless of your situation, I don't know. But see, when I've found myself in tough situations,
this is good,
which are very, very, very privileged still. Like I have not found myself fleeing for my life. I have not found myself in these very horrific positions. So again, I'm questioning my privilege here. But it is hard to feel gratitude in those moments, and maybe part of that is the work. Maybe the happiest people on the planet are the ones who have been able to feel gratitude for their present moment, regardless of what that situation is.
Yes, very good point. Yeah,
and maybe sometimes our truth just has more to do with gratitude than anything.
Yes, that's a very good
Which
point.
I have no idea if I truly believe this. I have literally no idea, but it's just a thought that's happening right now. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. And it is hard, like for me. Do you want to elaborate on that?
I was just thinking of like, in terms of refugees in terms of not having privilege, and refugees are probably some of the, people with the least amount of privilege, wouldn't you say? It's amazing though that you see the children from refugee families, and then some of them end up being the greatest givers,
right,
in our society.
Yes,
because they almost know, like, so they kind of know, like, I know what this looks like, and I know what I need to do to help balance this whole thing out.
Yeah. And I wonder too if there's a way, if there's a part of some of these refugee parents who are like, my truth is that I'm going to do absolutely everything that I can do to give my children a better life.
Yes.
To give my children a safe home.
I'm going to get out of here.
And so maybe when they're connected to their truth, it's easier to survive some of that hardship because they feel so purposeful in what they're doing and why they have to do it. I don't know.
And so driven.
Yeah, and like, so that can be their truth.
And everyone's like, well, why are you going? Where are you going? Like, you don't even know where you're going. You're like, we just know we need to get out of here.
Yeah,
because we know going. I'm going to be dead tomorrow, probably.
Or my kid is
going to be murdered tomorrow.
Exactly.
So everybody, let's just get out of here.
Yeah. And so and I think our truth changes. I think our truth changes a lot during our lifetimes,
Oh, yes.
And so for them, definitely. They can be like, if we're in alignment with our truth, I guess I'm wondering if things, if we can tap into that gratitude, if we can feel purposeful when we are in alignment with our truth, if we can if we can live that truth in the present moment, and then when situations change, maybe the truth changes for us. Maybe, that looks a different way. One thing, this is total side note, but I think that this is, so I'm listening to The Body Keeps the Score. And one of the things that I thought was so... Bessel van der Kolk. One of the things that I thought was so interesting that he said, and I guess it ties more into refugees than living your truth, but he said it's the studies show that it's actually psychologically better for those kids to not be shipped off to somewhere safe, but it's psychologically they feel it's less traumatic for them to stay in a traumatic situation with their parents or primary caregivers than it is to be sent off to somewhere quote unquote safe with someone that they don't know very well. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's so fascinating. Like the importance of love
and that connection
and that is like more important than
safety.
physical safety, because the emotional safety, when we feel emotionally unsafe, that is what can really
throw you for a loop,
right?
Yeah.
So I just thought, oh, that's so interesting. Like I don't know, this is like love and gratitude are two of the biggest things that we need, I feel like, to live this purposeful, truthful life. And I guess it gets hard for me because I know these things and I speak about these things and talk about the importance of love, but I have such a hard time, like finding the balance between like some rage that I feel for things that are happening right now in the world and how to stay connected to love. And so then, I don't know. It just brings up all these things in me too. It's like, where does rage have its place, and how do we balance that? Didn't you read something recently
about that in terms of like how rage does have its place, how anger has its place?
We did.
I was trying to actually think of that last night. I'm like, wait a second. That we read something, which we'll look up. Maybe we'll bring it up in the next podcast. We'll look it up. But where anger has its place.
Anger does have its place, I believe.
Yeah. Because it's so empowering. As long as it doesn't obsess your whole being for the rest of your life.
Right.
It does help you get out of situations or rescue people or just make change happen.
It creates action.
It creates action.
I think rage
is like the fire.
Yeah, rage is fuel. And then the fuel needs to be used towards action in the direction of love.
Yes.
And I think that's how they can work together. But, it's just, it's so interesting for me then to be like, well, if I'm thinking about that in terms of truth, well, I would rather, like, I feel like my truth is more that love is, the driver needs to be the driver. And so then I get confused because it's like, well, if I'm feeling ragey inside, is this me not walking truth? Because ultimately I want to be walking love. So if I'm walking rage, is that not my truth? But I think that there is definitely a place for rage and for that being a driver,
a catalyst of some way,
and not a driver towards aggression or hatred or anything like that, but can we use that feeling that we get inside of, for me, I don't like injustice. It's very, very, that's a very difficult thing for me to deal with. And it makes me feel super ragey inside. And so then being like, okay, well, how do I get back to love? How do I get from where I'm at, which is full of rage, to this place of love?
And maybe that's some type of action.
Exactly.
To sort of use that as an action
that
to get
fuel.
To love.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, right.
Exactly.
Or it's like, I just think of the shootings at
totally,
the synagogue.
That's exactly what I'm thinking about. I feel full of rage.
I'm very angry, but then I'm like, so then how do I use that rage, that power to make a difference? You know, so that we can catapult us and teach everybody about love. I mean, obviously we're missing something, I'm so mad. I'm so upset that a 97-year-old Holocaust survivor got murdered in their place of worship at the age of 97 in the United States of America in 2018. Like, for me, that makes me really
mad.
Oh yeah, it just seems totally unjust either. It's just
not fair
to survive all of that. And then suddenly, if you had a way to see someone's life, it's like, you're going to survive all of this, but then you're going to be shot.
By someone who basically said all Jews should die as you were being killed. Again, you're like, I thought we did
like,
this
I
already.
That. Probably people helped you to survive. You helped yourself to survive, and all of that.
So then, I guess coming back to the truth and like, what are my guides? Like then I'm like, well, I'm just a ragey, upset person, aren't I? Because all of this stuff. Like it fires me up, and it fires me up, but it's this injustice that fires me up. It's this deep knowing that this is not right. That is a truth for me. Mm-hmm. That is a truth. This is not right. This has to change. This is not okay.
No.
And that helps me walk in the direction of love, which I want to be walking. I want that is the path I want to be on.
Yes, and it makes me so sad for our society that we're not teaching our people. That we're not modeling for
because
everyone.
I can't imagine that man who went into the church and killed all those people. I can't imagine that his truth is hate. So who is guiding him?
Yes.
Who is his guide? Who is he listening to that he truly believes that Jewish people need to die?
Yeah, he feels unsafe.
So how do we get people like how do we?
That is a great question. Like
who is his guide and what is his truth? Because I don't think it can be
because he thought
that Jewish people deserve to die.
He thought, no, I do.
He did. I think he was on a holy mission.
Yes.
In his own mind.
In his own mind. He was following the guides.
And then you're like, well, who am I to judge what his truth is? Well, I am one to judge what his truth is because you can't kill people.
Well, and we're humans, and that's our, you just can't kill people.
But so then of course I think he's misguided.
Yes.
And it's like, but this is when, I don't know, this is when I get so confused because I'm like, well, who are his guides? This is all learned hate. And so how do we teach love over hate? I mean, I don't know.
It has to be so modeled.
Complicated.
Again, it just has to be modeled and modeled and modeled.
But do you think it will ever go away? Do you think hate, don't you think it's becoming more, not less?
Well,
and why?
I think we've always had hate, but I think we've been working hard to kind of to strive towards love. But what we're seeing is that, and I think for a while I thought, yes, we're really getting there to the love rainbow or whatever. But now I think it's like, I guess not. I didn't realize that there's all there's some misguided folks who need to be re-guided.
And I guess for me, that is part of the importance of the work, the importance of self-work.
Yes.
Because if that man actually were turning his attention inward and figuring out why he felt that he needed to hate people of a different religion so strongly, and why he felt just overcome with hate and rage. So how do we get almost my bigger question, and maybe this is part of like why I do the work that I do, is how do we get people to go inward and do their personal work? Because I think people who are actually taking care of themselves and doing the painful work of self-exploration and getting to that place of self-love and forgiveness and blah, 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 all that stuff. I don't think he would have murdered all those people if he'd been doing his own personal work.
No, because then he would be like, God, I feel super angry towards,
I've got to figure this out. I've got to figure out.
Consumed by this.
Right.
And even you saying like, oh, how do I do this? It's like I feel hate towards this what's happened. And how do I get to love? So you're reflecting on what does it mean? Mm-hmm. What does all this hate mean?
But can you imagine if all of the most hateful people in this world, and if all of the power-hungry, just corrupt, greedy, intolerant people, can you imagine if every one of them were doing their self-work? how much the world would be different.
Oh, it'd be so different.
And that's why I try to, that's why I self-work is really important, and self-care and taking the time to go inward and do the work. I think doing the work then helps us walk more in alignment with truth. And I do believe there are some universal truths of love. I think love is a huge universal truth. But the further we stray from that truth, the more we're going to see things
the more dangerous it becomes.
The more dangerous the world becomes for all of us. Yes. Because of these people who are saying, you know what, I'm not going to look at that shame. I'm not going to look at the pain. I'm not going to look at the neglect. I'm not going to look at any of this stuff. I'm just
going to... Their dark room gets like so dark, and it overcomes their whole being.
Their whole entire house
and they're like,
becomes a dark room.
I gotta freaking light it up.
Yeah, exactly. So just, I don't know how to conclude this,
right?
Except by saying, like, people got to do the work,
and that's why we do what we do. For me, that's why I do what I do.
Yes,
that's why I do it, because maybe we're a little spark somewhere. And you out there are listening to this, and you're a little spark somewhere, that we need all those little sparks all over the planet.
Yes.
To keep doing the work. Mm-hmm. Because sparks make little fires, and little fires make big fires, where we can start being the change that we need to see in this world. Because we're not just seeing this in the United States right now, right? We're seeing it globally in terms of this sort of nationalistic spirit of
this fear and this
of the other.
Yeah, it's this fear of the other.
And it's like it's almost like that whole generation after World War II has died off or dying off.
Sure.
And we've all kind of forgotten.
Yeah.
Remember how it started? And we're all like,
Yeah.
No, because I love my country. Nothing wrong with that. Of course you love your country. But of course, but we need to love the other too, whoever they are, because it makes up all of us. We're all human. Mm-hmm. We all have, like you said,
and not only
the same truth. There's some universal truths we have to stick to.
Yes. And I guess maybe going to the next level with that is not only do you love your country, but do you love yourself?
Yes.
Because I think that there's a lot of people who actually, the ones who are the most afraid, it's not that they love their country any more than anybody else does, but they don't love themselves enough.
And it makes them scared.
They don't believe in abundance. They don't believe that things are provided for them. They don't believe that they're going to be okay unless that there's enough. They don't believe that, that they are going to matter unless other people matter less. And I think there's a big piece of that is there's this comparison thing. And it's like, well, you know what? I at least know that I'm better than you because I'm not Jewish. Mm-hmm. So you know what? I actually matter. I have value because at least I'm better than you or you or you.
Right. And you guys are taking up too much space.
Mm-hmm. And so I think that so much of these things that we deal with as a society, as a culture, as a world, it's because people are not loving themselves enough. And so that they have to feel valuable. They have to feel worthy because they can put other people down, because they can say, well, at least I'm better than you.
Right. I'm safe now.
But you come in and I'm not going to be safe.
That's right.
Well, that requires resiliency, internal resiliency, and trust and love and gratitude. My gosh, it's like, I don't know.
And it's a lot of hard work too, because you got to look at yourself and look at what you're doing,
and you got to forgive yourself. You got to say, you know what? You're not gonna my status, my pain, all of those things don't define me any longer, and so I am going to just be accepting of who I am, of where I'm at. And then once that happens, it's a lot easier not to be afraid of other people, not to compare yourself against other people. It's easier to see that we all are from the same thing.
Oh yeah. From the same two humans a long, long time ago. Or there were 6 Eves, I guess, or something. Anyway, we can trace that.
I have no idea. I just meant like love and light. Like we're love and light.
I just keep going back to like, we all came from the same freaking humans. We're humans. We're hominids. I can take you apart of the same genetic code.
Sure, exactly.
As a person who lives in China or as a person who lives in Africa. You have the same genetic, basically you say, Sarah, most of the same genetic code. You're a human.
Right.
So why is all this thing about difference?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
That's not, it's just like, give me a, you know, it just is very frustrating. And again, to get back to, are we living our truth? Mm-hmm. You know, are we aware of who we are? Are we aware of where we're at? Are we aware of our weaknesses and our strengths? Are we willing to question ourselves, to be curious, to understand, why do I feel so angry? Why do I feel so sad? To sit with ourselves. Mm-hmm. You know, this is the work we all have to do. And we have to keep doing it, not just for ourselves, but for society at large.
We have to do it. Yes, it has to be.
The work has to start at home.
It does. It has to start at home. And I think that we also have to truly believe that our life can make a difference, that our life matters.
Yeah, you're the pebble in the pond.
Yes,
the little teeny pebble fell in the pond, but it made all those rings and then created a big wave at the end.
Totally. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think that maybe that's the answer to world peace right there.
Yeah.
Do your work, people.
You can hire us as the Secretary of State. Why'd I stutter there?
Because you always stutter.
Secretary of State. We love you guys.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, thank you for listening and reflect on like what you're saying, Kaylee. What do you guys think?
Yeah, how do you know if you're walking in your truth, and who are you letting guide you? Who are you following you? Is it a truth? Is it a fear? Is it, you know, what is that? So I don't know. I think this type of work is really important.
There's a lot of good answers. Oops.
And on that note,
we'll decline that call.
And we'll talk to you next week.
Au revoir.